Hello there. In this video, we are going to use the distributive property to simplify each of these expressions. So before we get started, before I give you the formal definition of distributive property, I'm going to show you an example here. So let's introduce that. Say, for example, you have 3 times 4 plus 5. And then I'm going to solve this in two different ways. So 3 times 4 plus 5. Say I want to solve this by using order of operations. So order of operations, I'm going to work inside. So 4 plus 5 is 9. And then I still have 3 there. And then 3 times 9 is 27. So what I did here was work inside the parentheses and then multiplied. Over here, I will distribute the 4. When you say distribute, the definition of distribute is basically you're giving something to each of those members inside your parentheses. So this means 3 times everything inside. So this is 3 times 4. So that is 12. And then 3 times 5, that is 15. And then now you solve it, 12 plus 15, that is 27. Okay, so when you have numerical expression like this, it won't matter, right? You can do it this way or you can do it this way. You will get the same answer. Okay, what if you have something like this, wherein you cannot work inside the parentheses? I can simplify this. I don't know what's x. So you will have to use this strategy, right, to simplify that. And this is what the distributive property is saying, that if you have, say, a number and you're multiplying a quantity, say B plus C, you can simplify that by distributing the number outside to each of the terms inside. That's the same thing as AB, or A times B, plus A times C. A times C. Okay, so this is what the distributive property is all about. Property. This is the distributive property over addition because you have addition over here. Okay, so remember, when you have a number outside and then you have a quantity, you can simplify that by distributing the number outside to each of the terms inside. Okay, all terms, not just the first one. So this is what we will apply the distributive property to simplify these problems here. Okay, so let's do it. The first one. So basically you have 3 groups of the whole thing, right? You have 3 groups of 4x plus 6. So applying the distributive property, you have 3 groups of 4x. So that means you have 12x. Erase this. And then you have 3 groups of positive 6, which means you have 18. So this is the simplified form of this expression. Okay, now this one, some students, they'll be like, oh, fraction, I don't know how to do fraction. So let me do an example over here to help you out with that. So say, for example, I ask you, what is 1/2 of 10? I bet you know that. You have $10, you want to find half of that. You'll say, that's 5. And you're right. When you're trying to find the half of something, all you have to do is to divide that something by 2. And that will be the half of that something. Okay? So we will use that concept to simplify here. So remember, you have half of the whole thing in the group. So you have half of 10x. So you have 10x, you'll take half of that. That's 5x. Then plus half of 8. What's half of 8? 4. Okay, so the simplified form of that is 5x plus 4. Let me box it with my red marker because I love boxing stuff. There. Okay, the third one. This one, oh, there's fraction and there's a negative. Don't worry about it. You just treat it like multiplying integers with negatives. That's just how you do it. So first, figure out the sign. So negative times, well, this 6x has no sign here, so that's understood to be positive. So negative times a positive is negative. Okay, we're done with the sign. Now we're going to do, what is half of 6x? Half of 6x, that is 3x. Okay, now the next one, again, we will work with the signs first. That's a negative times a negative, so that is positive. And then half of 10. What's half of 10? 5. So the answer for that is negative 3x plus 5. Okay, the next one. Oh, this one is 1/4 of something. Remember, when you're taking 1/2 of something, you divide it by 2. So when you're taking 1/4 of something, you divide that something by 4. Okay? So remember, 1/4 of the whole thing. So one at a time. What's 1/4 of 16x? So 4x. Because 16 divided by 4 is 4. And then what's, now you have a sign here. That's positive divided by a negative. That's a negative. And then what's 1/4 of 24? You're right, is 6. So that simplifies to 4x minus 6. All right, the next one. Again, this one you have signs, but don't be scared. Just do it one at a time. You're taking negative 1/4 of the whole thing. So let's figure out the signs first. Negative times a negative, that's positive. And then 1/4 of 4x. What's 1/4 of 4x? That's just x. The second term here. Negative times a positive, that's negative. And then what's 1/4 of 8? 2. So the answer is x plus 2. You don't need a positive there because that's just automatic. When there's no sign in front, that's positive. Okay, the last one. 1/3 of the whole thing. So just like the 1/2, we divided by 2. 1/3, you divided by 3. So this one is just positive, so it will be easy. What's 1/3 of 9x? 3x. And then positive divided by negative, that's negative. What's 1/3 of 15? It's 5. So the simplified form of that is 3x minus 5. Okay, so that's how you use the distributive property to simplify expressions. Just remember, you are going to multiply the outside term to all the terms inside, not just the first one. Okay, and don't be scared with fractions. You just apply multiplying, your rules for multiplying fractions if it's a little bit more complicated. But if it's just simple like this, when you have unit fractions, you just have to divide your terms by your denominator. Like 1/2 divided times 10, that's 10 divided by 2. 1/3 of 9x, that's 9 divided by 3, and so on. Okay? All right. I hope you find this video helpful.